Okay, so let us start. Good evening, everyone. Okay, so if we do not have a newspaper, please give it to me so that we can discuss the articles directly. Yes, this photograph is for Ujjain Mahakal temple. Yes, so these are the important articles. Look at the first page. Okay, so there is one news on the bottom side, 3 lakh and counting RTI pleas pile up at information commissions across India. Very, very important, and the recent data related to implementation of RTI, especially talking about the pending cases with information commissions at state level and CIC at central level. You note it down all this data and you should use this in your mains examination. Okay, GS2 paper, polity and governance part. On top side there is news, IMF cuts India's growth forecast to 6.8 this year. The day before yesterday again the World Bank also had reduced India's growth forecast. We had covered that point. You should also remember this 6.8% उन्होंने कम कर दिया है. Now it is 6.8% for the ongoing year. Moving on. Look at on page number 3, there is small news in brief. Haryana to buy paddy straw at MSP to check stubble burning. Now this is innovative, no? See, there is, earlier I have told you and the foundation batch student that there is some lack of incentives to the farmers, that they are facing problem ki, of course, there is only 20 or 21 days short window from Kharif crop to Rabi crop, harvesting Kharif crop and immediately sowing Rabi crop. So they don't have monetary incentives to, remove that stubble from the field and then let's say sell it somewhere, store it somewhere. So that's why they are burning on the field itself. So if suppose the government is saying that we will buy that at MSP, MSP is announced before sowing period itself. So farmers will have some kind of incentive. Oh, we will collect this, we will store somewhere, we will sell it to the government. And the government will again sell it to, let's say, coal-fired thermal power plants or any industry which is willing to buy that and use it as fuel. So this innovative method, you can mention that in your answer. Fine. Now moving on. Come to page number 6, editorial page. Solutions by the people for the people. Now, article is written by Arun Maira, former Planning Commission. Every article written by him you should read for polity and governance and economy part. The article in the first part talks about how we have adopted this welfare economy after independence, the mixed nature of economy, and thereafter we move towards the open economy that largely followed by the capitalist countries. And how it is resulting into lot of problem, be it related to income inequality, be it related to environment pollution and other problems like increasing level of poverty, rich-poor divide. Understood? And in the second part, it is talking about one particular book. You should remember this, you can quote this in your essay paper also. The name of the book is Earth for All, a Survival Guide for Humanity. And basically it is written after 50 years of, let's say, Club of Rome, जो meeting हुआ था 1972 में, talking about the way economy, capitalist economy is working and the harmful impact on the ecology, environment, and we can say the developing and underdeveloped countries, especially related to poverty, hunger and inequality. After this 50 years, basically this is a kind of report given to that Club of Rome. Okay. And this book talks about 5 solutions to change the discourse that we have related to policy, economic policy. That's why it is innovative. You should deliberately use these 5 points in your answer. Okay? So we will discuss this. Then, okay, fine. So other articles are not that much relevant. On the bottom side, there is this article talking about mental health. Day before yesterday, we celebrated International Mental Health Day. So that's why blaming technology for deaths by suicide is misguided. This article is written, and yes, there will not be specific question per se, but there can be question in GS1 paper or the broader scale. Why the reasons for suicide? वैसा बोला जाता है India is a suicide let's say capital of the world. The second most reason after road deaths or accident deaths, this is the reason for deaths in India. सुसाइड्स. अब ये जो रीजंस है वो अलग अलग रीजंस, एंड वन ऑफ द रीजंस दैट इज एट्रीब्यूटेड फॉर सुसाइड इज द एमर्जिंग टेक्नोलॉजीज, ऐसा बोला जा रहा है. एंड वी हैव डिस्कस मेनी टाइम्स लास्ट ईयर, स्पेशली ड्यूरिंग लॉकडाउन टाइम पीरियड, हाउ लेट्स से द चिल्ड्रन स्पेशली एंड द अदर पीपल वेर इन especially adolescents, again they are attached to these video games and the screens. They are spending lot of time on these smartphones and screens, we can say. So they are very much let's say involved in use of this technology, and if suppose suddenly what happens is they are not using this technology, suddenly it will impact their mental health, or overall long term use of such technology is resulting into mental health problem. Why? Because they are losing on the social bonding, no? Isolation, mental trauma and stress, the competition. ठीक है, जो ऑनलाइन कंपटीशन होता है ना आजकल, लोग कितने लाइक्स मिलेंगे, मेरे फोटो को उसके फोटो को कितने लाइक, मेरा वीडियो अच्छा बना है, उसका वीडियो अच्छा बना है, यही चल रहा है एडोलेसेंट्स में आजकल. एंड दिस इज हाउ दे आर फेसिंग स्ट्रेस. हमारे टाइम पे क्या है कि हमको मार्क्स कम मिले तो कल घर पे जाके क्या बोलेंगे रीज़न मम्मी पापा को, ये स्ट्रेस था. ठीक है, तो नाउ द डिफरेंट काइंड्स ऑफ लेवल ऑफ स्ट्रेस का क्यों? क्योंकि ये सारे स्टूडेंट्स 95 प्लस लाते हैं मार्क्स. आजकल 90% प्लस लाना इज नॉट, क्या बोलते हैं, मुश्किल फॉर मोस्ट ऑफ द स्टूडेंट्स, चिल्ड्रन, है ना. सो हमारे टाइम पे कंपटीशन अलग ही था देखा जाए तो, मतलब हमारे बचपन के टाइम पे अगर देखते हैं तो. सो दिस इज हाउ द मेंटल health has become a major concern, major challenge. Now we recently discussed one thing talking about environment, let's say analysis, environment related questions 2022. Do you remember one question? No, science and tech related question. One question was related to health indicators. The human longevity increased to health related. So of course old age people are facing mental health issues also. Work from home also created lot of mental health related issues. ठीक है, so now on page number, text and context page 8 number page, on bottom side, what are the allegations against Google by NBDA, news broadcasters and this digital association? They have gone to this CCI Competition Commission of India, and they are saying that let's say whatever the search engine having the dominant position in the market dominant position by the Google company, it is not providing the appropriate share of revenue to those news broadcaster. In return, basically this it is getting profits from publishing its news. ठीक है, so we'll talk about this, what they are saying here. Now moving on. Yes, on page number 10, a nation achieves glory when it takes pride in its heritage, says Prime Minister in Ujjain. So he inaugurated this corridor, Mahakal Lok corridor in Ujjain, where the infrastructure development in the heritage and culturally important places. Okay, so you should be knowing about the Mahakal temple from art and culture perspective. ठीक है, so earlier we talked about that in 2021 there was two questions in prelims. Prime Minister visited this, inaugurated this, बन गया question. रामानुजम स्टैचू, वो उस पे क्वेश्चन पूछ लिया. ठीक है, so this is how wherever Prime Minister goes we have to be prepared, updated. You know, when we used to prepare for this examination, and our Prime Minister was newly appointed as a Prime Minister in 2014. And from 2014 to 2016, our Prime Minister visited almost every country of the world within 2 years. And we had to keep a tab on all those, developments in international relations. अच्छा यहाँ गए, कौन सा agreement sign किया, अच्छा कौन सा gift लेके गए, ये सारी चीज़ें चल रही थी. This is how now at national level you should be having follow up, क्योंकि 2024 में जो है elections आएंगे, general elections, and our prime minister will inaugurate so many let's say projects next year in different states which are undergoing this election. तो आपको वो चीज़ सारी पता होनी चाहिए, ठीक है, but syllabus को stick. Okay, now on page number 11, on page number 10 bottom side, non-traditional livelihood skills of girls included in Beti Padhao scheme, Beti Bachao Beti Padhao scheme. Okay, which skills are added, why they have been added, we'll cover this as well as basics of this particular scheme. On page number 11, Chandrachud nominated as next Chief Justice of India. So, very important development because he is going to have again long tenure of 2 years. Also, uniqueness of him is that he is going to be the first person of second generation to be Chief Justice of India. His father was also Chief Justice of India. Okay, so for the first time it is going to be there. Also, we should be knowing about basics of how Chief Justice of India is appointed. Polity section, prelims. Okay, then yes, moving on. On page number 12, UN Secretary General Prime Minister to launch initiative on environment in Gujarat. Okay, a particular initiative under life. So, lifestyle for environment. This was the motto given by our Prime Minister in previous year, or let's say Glasgow summit that had happened in UK, COP26. So, under that initiative, the new initiatives will be launched by Prime Minister. It is not launched yet, but different ambassadors and the UN Secretary General is also going to be present at that time. Okay. Yes. So, fine then. So, we will discuss these all articles one by one in detail. Let's go. First one, need to change economic policy discourse. Okay, is it visible? Okay. So, the article I was talking about given by Arun Maira, written by Arun Maira. Just a moment. लिखने नहीं हो रहा है फाइल में. हाँ कर दीजिए, उससे नहीं चलेगा ना. Okay, let us continue. Yes. So this article is written from the perspective that the capitalist economy that we have adopted at large world level, most of the countries have adopted this. It is resulting into several problems. What kind of problems or challenges we are facing because of this? It is creating inequality. It is aggravating poverty. Okay, the chronic poverty we are experiencing among the certain section, and rich poor divide largely we can say. Poor are getting more poorer, rich are getting more richer. Inequality is there. Thereafter, environment degradation is there. Okay, environment degradation is there. And along with that, we can say that loss of natural resources in unsustainable manner. So it is not resulting into sustainable development. So future generations will be facing problems. Okay, so because of this, the idea in Club of Rome by some experts in 1970 was discussed. This idea led to later the concept of sustainable development. Okay, the Brundtland Commission, 1987. This gave the definition of sustainable development. So, this particular article is written to talk about the provisions, solutions given in one particular book after 50 years of this Club of Rome meeting, and which 5 solutions have been talked. Let's talk about them. Here आंसर में डायरेक्टली लिखना है. जब भी एनवायरनमेंट या इकोनॉमी से रिलेटेड क्वेश्चन इस तरीके से आता है या ऐसे आता है. ओके, सो फर्स्ट वन, the solution is given, end poverty, because the poverty is, let's say, the major concern. Okay, because poverty will result into lot of problems. Okay, poverty will result into, we can say, poor health and educational outcomes. Indicators. Poverty will make it vulnerable for radicalization. Poverty will result into, let's say, low skill, low productivity job, and therefore again it is kind of vicious cycle. It remains in poverty. Okay, poverty is considered as worst polluter. Our Prime Minister Indira Gandhi has said in Stockholm Convention. Okay, so polluter. Understood. So again, let's say concern related to hunger, malnutrition. It will create instability, geopolitical instability. What we are seeing in the African countries is basically this one, because of poverty. So it affects world peace. It affects world peace. इतनी सारी चीजें हैं. That's why end poverty. That's why the first sustainable development goal, end poverty. ठीक है ना? So sustainable development goals are there. Earlier there was millennial development goal, end poverty, zero poverty, or reducing poverty was the goal. ये सारी चीजें हैं. That's why I always talk priority wise. First, second, remove inequality. This one. Okay. Now inequality, क्या होता है inequality से? Inequality means basically in terms of largely income inequality. Income inequality largely we are talking here. Okay, and the income inequality means basically rich poor divide is increasing. We all know about Oxfam reports, right? The 1% in the world has the resources of 70, more than 70%, and the bottommost, let's say 50% of the people only owns 10% of the resources. You can understand the rich poor divide. Latest data लिखना है, latest Oxfam report का, जब भी हम आंसर में लिखेंगे. Now what happens because of this? It creates a kind of dissatisfaction among the poor people. Hatred among the rich, hatred towards rich people. अंबानी को थ्रेट कॉल क्यों आ रहा है? इसी के लिए ना, रिचेस्ट पर्सन है, ऑफ कोर्स हैट्रेड, ठीक है, एक काइंड ऑफ डिससैटिस्फैक्शन है सोसाइटी में, ओके, एंड द वेल्थ इज नॉट रीडिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड प्रॉपरली, ऑल्दो इट इज लेट्स से पार्ट ऑफ आवर constitutional obligations with the government, but it is not redistributed properly. So hatred towards the rich is there. There will be social tensions, always social tensions, क्योंकि इक्वालिटी नहीं है, इक्वालिटी नहीं है तो किसी भी तरीके का social tensions will be always there. Okay. So this is the result of, we can say, inequality. That's why we need to remove inequality. And when there are social tensions, there are always chances of violence. Understood? So the kind of, let's say, Naxalism, one of the reason is, okay, so the hatred, then the social tensions, the violence, so peace will not be there again. The world peace is affected, remove socially. Then the third one, empower women. Sequence में लिखना है, okay, empower women. Now women have been traditionally neglected section of the society. Okay, now 50% population out of workforce, we can say. In India, especially the workforce participation is around only 25% among the women. Okay, so this is again, we can say, concern. Along with that, women are not educated, not literate. So that's why they are not independent, not able to take their own decisions. Patriarchal nature of society. Okay, so this is resulting into lot of, let's say, women related issues. What we are observing in Iran, protest, this is the result of the conservative nature of society, ठीक है, and this is resulting into violation of human rights of the women, fundamental rights of the women, basic rights. That's why empower women. How do we empower women? पहले तो आप उनको प्रोटेक्ट गर्ल चाइल्ड, बेटी बचाओ बेटी पढ़ाओ प्रोग्राम, राइट. सेकंड, देन एजुकेट देम, नरिश देम, provide opportunities of employment, security, public places. This is how we empower women. ठीक है, autonomy over their own body, protecting their rights. The recent example, Supreme Court judgment, abortion rights, rights of the women, bodily autonomy. ये सारी चीजें लिखनी है, empower women. Understood? Then the fourth one, you write this one, healthy food systems. Healthy food systems, very important. Okay, पहले 3 होने के बाद हम फूड और एनर्जी की तरफ जा रहे हैं, ठीक है. The food systems is very important. Why? At present, whatever the diseases that are there, either because of food, let's say, fall food, or simply we can say water, ठीक है. तो water is included in healthy food system, together it is saying that. So all these communicable diseases and the diseases originating from the low quality food and water, so ये जो है disease burden increase करता है, it is increasing disease burden. Okay, then because of low quality food intake, there is malnutrition or lack of nutritious food, malnutrition, undernutrition, stunted growth. In India, around 40% of children are either wasted or stunted, or there is undernutrition, according to hunger index. According to hunger index. And always see India's ranking in World Hunger Index is very poor. What is this? Poor food systems. We have achieved food security, but still this is the situation. So that's why we need to have healthy food system. So how do we do that? We are writing this from general perspective as well as Indian perspective. Question कैसे भी आ सकता है, right? So healthy food system. What we are talking here in let's say food fortification, like golden rice in India, rich in vitamin A, golden rice. You can talk about then midday meal scheme, or now it is PM Poshan. Name is changed. Also some things, provisions of the scheme, PM Poshan. Then you talk about the other aspects like food safety and standards, ensuring food safety and standards. Sanitation and hygiene is also linked to this. How the food is prepared, where the food is prepared, food safety, hygiene, sanitation. Okay? So healthy food systems is this one. Then you can talk about, let's say, promotion of healthy food eating habits, promotion of healthy eating habits by the government, against fast food, Chinese food, जो junk food, ठीक है? So this is also healthy food system, ठीक है? Okay. And last one, clean energy, very important again. Transition to clean energy, specifically we can mention here, transition towards clean energy. Why we need to transit towards clean energy? Because fossil fuels have created problems. Pollution, global warming, greenhouse gas, and then we can say ozone depletion, ocean acidification. Then we can say that the other problems you mentioned here, we all know. Health issues, इससे क्या हो रहा है? Health issues हो रहे हैं. People dying prematurely because of this pollution. Okay. Then global warming and climate change, the impact on, let's say, increase in natural disasters and all these things. You can mention that. So that's why we need to move towards clean energy. Which energy? Renewable energy. Solar, wind, hydro, all these things you can mention. Then second is energy efficiency. Clean energy mein energy efficiency can be improved. Okay, so that is also good thing. Then talk about the new generation fuels like hydrogen, biofuels, then mass transport systems like we can say metro, biofuel, ethanol, ethanol and biodiesel, all these are there. Fine, now you have understood the 5 systemic solutions for simultaneously improving people, planet and profit. This is what we call it as now the new governance. Okay, 3 P's. Our Prime Minister from time to time mentions about this 3 P's: people, planet and profit. So our economic system should work parallelly to benefit all these three. Oh, not only profit. जब सिर्फ प्रॉफिट पे फोकस किया तो इसको प्रॉब्लम हो गया, है ना? So simultaneous focus should be on 3 P's. Fine. Now, what are the allegations against Google by NBDA? News Broadcasters and Digital Association, it has moved or petitioned in CCI, Competition Commission of India, which is India's antitrust body, we can say, and which ensures that there is no cartelization, no anti-competitive or market distortion practices by any one company against the other company. This is kind of regulator. Competition Commission of India is a statutory body established under CCI Act 2002. Okay. Now, why in news? ये अभी जो मैंने बताया कि अब ये क्यों NBDA ने Google के अगेंस्ट किया है? Because we all know whenever we search on the Google search engine, let's say I am telling you that Mahakal temple. If you search today Mahakal temple on Google, what it will show? It will show certain websites and their links having this information. Now this is largely in news, so that's why news platforms, digital news platforms like Indian Express, India Today, Times of India or The Hindu, they will give their news also, no, related to this. That will appear on the Google search engine. And the person who want to know more will click on that link. It will be directly redirected to that page. Now who is benefiting here? Google is benefiting, because on Google platform it is being searched. Google is also showing simultaneously ads, no, from where it is generating its revenue. Now these news broadcasters, they are saying that basically the Google should let's say share appropriate amount of revenue with them also, because no one is directly going to India Today website or Indian Express website and then looking for Mahakal temple news. That will be time consuming, no? अगर मुझे जानना है तो ऑफ कोर्स इंडियन एक्सप्रेस भी न्यूज़ होगा, सब में न्यूज़ होगा, बट आई हैव टू सर्च समवेयर. अच्छा ये आज के न्यूज़पेपर में कहाँ पे कल्चर के अंडर होगा, कहाँ पे होगा न्यूज़, वी डोंट नो. इट मे नॉट बी ऑन द फ्रंट, लेट्स से वॉट एवर द फेस ऑफ दैट वेबसाइट. ठीक है, तो इसके लिए हम क्या करते हैं, डायरेक्टली सर्च कर दिया, डायरेक्टली वो रीडायरेक्ट कर दिया उसी पेज पे. बेनिफिट इज फॉर गूगल, बट द news agencies are not benefiting. Yes, and of course the information is being given by digital news platforms, not Google, but benefits are going for Google. Now, why Google is dominant? You should know that around 95% of search engine market is dominated by Google. Have you ever used other search engine? No, Internet Explorer is different. That is actually the, we can say, Explorer, a particular Explorer like Google Chrome. But Google search engine, like Yahoo search engine is also there. Okay, but no one uses that. Try to understand. Largely people use Google. पहले टाइप ही करते Google, फिर आता है उसका search engine, उसमें search करेंगे जो भी करना है. This is the trend, and that's why 95% of the market is by this search engine. Okay, dominant, and there is no big rival to Google search engine. So that's why it is having dominant position. Now whenever there is dominant company in any market sphere, it is having this tendency to dominate the small players, and this goes against the market, free market practice, competition, free competition. Okay, this is how we should understand. ठीक है, yes, one student is asking that please suggest some current affairs strategy for beginner. Yes, Vaibhav, I will tell you at the end of the session for strategy of current affairs. Okay, so be there till the end of the session, and you will receive whatever the question you are asking. Okay, so now what are the key allegations? Key allegations here is that the profits that are generated by Google, they are largely because of advertisement. Okay, it is not taking money from the broadcaster or the users. No, हम पे करते क्या Google को? नहीं ना, ठीक है. And the broadcasters are all not paying Google कि उनका website आए, वहाँ पे link आए. Rather, Google is earning from advertisement, and it is a kind of interface connecting between that news broadcaster and the common user who is going to read that news. But वो intermediary ही ज़्यादा amount लेके जा रहा है as compared to the originator of the news, who should get more revenue, right? So the revenue share is not appropriate amount of revenue sharing is not happening. Okay, what is happening outside India? This was in news last year a lot because of, let's say, similar kind of incident happened in Australia, and Australian government has decided that there should be compulsorily sharing of revenue by these tech giants with digital news broadcaster. Okay, and there will be now bargaining with each and every news broadcaster to have some kind of contract with the Google or Facebook. Facebook पे भी तो आता है ना, लिंक आता है कि नहीं Facebook का, हर एक का. Okay, so basically there should be some kind of appropriate sharing of revenue. Similar incident happened in European Union also, EU. Okay, so be aware about the international development and what stand has taken has been taken by the government, Australia and European Union. Fine. Let's see what happens in future. ठीक है. Now, Chandrachud nominated as next Chief Justice of India. Some information about him. At present, Justice U. Lalit is the outgoing Chief Justice. He was Chief Justice of India only for 72 days. Okay, and the new Chief Justice of India will be, let's say, Chief Justice Lalit is scheduled to retire on 8th November at the end of 74 days tenure. Okay, बहुत ही कम tenure था उनका. And now he has recommended the name as successor D.Y. Chandrachud. Okay, now you should know that if the government approves this, the Justice Chandrachud would be the first second generation CJI. His father, Justice Y.V. Chandrachud, was 16th CJI and one of the longest serving. ठीक है, तो पहली बार ऐसा हो रहा है कि फादर भी पहले सीजीआई थे और बेटा भी सीजीआई बना है इंडिया में 75 years में टोटल. Okay, then Justice Chandrachud would be appointed, so he will have tenure of 2 years as a Chief Justice, and retirement will be in 2024, November 2024. Justice Chandrachud was appointed as a judge of Supreme Court in 2016. Earlier, he was Chief Justice of Allahabad Court from 2013 onwards. ठीक है, तो UPSC will not ask about this. ये state PCS में पूछने वाली चीजें हैं. ठीक है, but what UPSC will ask? How Chief Justice of India is appointed. Yes, how the Chief Justice of India is appointed. You should know that CJI is primus inter pares, यानी कि जो है first among the equals. Largely this is the situation. जैसे हम Prime Minister is basically the first among the other ministers. ठीक है, primus inter pares जिसको बोलते हैं, first among the others. So basically Chief Justice of India is judge of Supreme Court, and the Constitution provides criteria for appointment of Judge of Supreme Court, not Chief Justice of India. Okay. Chief Justice of India, simply there is provision in Article 124 saying that President should appoint a Chief Justice of India. There is no criteria mentioned. There is no criteria mentioned. Okay. And by convention, remember this, by convention evolved in India, senior most judge of Supreme Court. Seniority is not age wise. It is not age wise. It is the tenure served. This is considered as a seniority. कितने साल से वो सुप्रीम कोर्ट के जज है, कितने साल उन्होंने सर्व किया है, उसके हिसाब से उनको सीनियरिटी दी जाती है. Okay, seniority of work we can say. Yes, so this is decided by convention. That means it is not mentioned in any constitution, law or statute or rules. This is by convention. And this convention has been broken twice in the past. If you remember, during 1970s, Indira Gandhi period, this convention was broken. So senior most judge was not appointed or recommended. Now how the process of recommendation goes? Let's see this one. Remember this. Law minister seeks recommendation of name of new CJI from outgoing CJI. फ्रॉम आउटगोइंग सीजीआई, जो रिटायर होने वाला है उनसे ये नाम मांगते हैं कि कौन सा होना चाहिए नेक्स्ट सीजीआई. देन वंस द नेम इज रिसीव्ड, रिकमेंडेशन इज रिसीव्ड, लॉ मिनिस्ट्री पुट दिस विथ प्राइम मिनिस्टर एंड प्राइम मिनिस्टर एडवाइजेस President to appoint him as Chief Justice of India. This is the procedure. This is the procedure. Remember this for CJI in India. Understood? Senior most judge by convention is given. This name is decided by collegium again. Senior most 4 judges. But in general, the practice is that now senior most judge is recommended as the Chief Justice of India. Fine. Now, in addition to this information, you should be knowing that he is not having any fixed tenure or term. He is like other Supreme Court judge. Simply, he will retire at the age of 65. Very clear. Yes. There is no, let's say, appointment age, minimum age. Whatever the criteria that is there for Supreme Court judge, same is criteria. Okay, so remember these aspects related to Chief Justice of India, and some additional things that you can remember in general awareness जिसको हम बोलते हैं, that important judgments by Justice Chandrachud till the date. He is very famous for giving some dissenting view on very important matters. For example, he had given dissent in Aadhaar case. Then he had given the dissenting view on we can say this Koregaon case, Bhima Koregaon case, 5 activists were arrested at that time also. He actually wrote the judgments, important judgment in Hadia case, person's right to choose a religion and marry. And in Sabrimala judgment, he has written the judgment here. So rights of the women, अभी जो abortion वाला जो judgment है, इन्होंने ही लिखा है. So he is at forefront in upholding rights of the women. We can expect such future judgment in next 2 years. Understood? Then along with that, he has let's say given the judgment recognizing privacy as a fundamental rights, became game changer, which led to decriminalization of section 377. Right, the consensual adult homosexual relationship which were criminalized under IPC section 377. It was decriminalized by the Supreme Court. Understood? So this is how you should be knowing some important judgments. Now, Prime Minister inaugurated Mahakal Low Corridor in Madhya Pradesh, Ujjain. This information is sufficient. ठीक है, करंट का कॉन्टेक्स्ट. बट हमारे लिए क्या इंपॉर्टेंट है? महाकाल टेम्पल, उज्जैन, आर्ट एंड कल्चर. Some important points you should be knowing because in past UPSC has asked about ज्योतिर्लिंगास. ठीक है, तो इसलिए आपको पता होना चाहिए कि कौन से 12 ज्योतिर्लिंग है इंडिया में. And let's say the Purana says Lord Shiva pierced the world as an endless pillar of light called Jyotirlinga. There are 12 Jyotirlinga sites in India considered as a manifestation of Shiva. Okay, and which are these? One is Mahakal, just now we are talking about. Then Somnath and Nageshwar in Gujarat. है ना, Mahakal is in MP. Somnath and Nageshwar in Gujarat. Remember the states also. Mallikarjuna in Andhra Pradesh. Omkareshwar in Madhya Pradesh. Kedarnath in Uttarakhand. There are 3 in Maharashtra, Bhima Shankar, Trambakeshwar and Grishneshwar in Maharashtra. Vishwanath, Varanasi, UP. Baidyanath in Jharkhand and Rameshwar in Tamil Nadu. These are the 12. 12 है ना? हाँ. Now uniqueness of Mahakal. Remember this. Again I am talking here. Mahakal is the only Jyotirlinga facing south, while all other Jyotirlingas face east. While all other Jyotirlingas face east. This is difference. Okay, it is only facing south and rather south facing घर भी नहीं होता है, पता है ना आपको? हम नहीं लेते हैं, या साउथ फेसिंग के लिए हम ये नहीं डालते हैं. टेम्पल घर में जब हम टेम्पल रखते हैं छोटा सा, तो साउथ फेसिंग नहीं रखते. Why? Because the direction of death is believed to be south. And in fact, people worship Mahakaleshwar to prevent untimely death. ठीक है, this is unique information you should remember. Now, in the early part of Meghadutam or Purva Megh, the poetry or let's say the compilation composed in 4th century by Kalidasa. We learn this in history. It gives description of this Mahakal temple. Okay, so from ancient times the description is there. And city of Ujjain was also one of the primary trade center or learning of Hindu scriptures called as Avantika. Okay, during the Buddha time period or Magadha time period, Avantika was the city and now it is called as Ujjain. Basically from medieval time onwards it is named as Ujjain city. Earlier it was called Avantika. This can be asked in the prelims. Then along with that you should know that astronomers and mathematicians like Brahmagupta, Bhaskaracharya made Ujjain their home. They are astronomers, ancient times. Okay, Brahmagupta and Bhaskaracharya. Then along with that later 18th century, Maharaja Jai Singh II, known as let's say he established the observatory, astronomical observatory, known as Vedashala or Jantar Mantar. Okay, in Ujjain. Then 13th century temple complex was destroyed by Turkish ruler Shamsuddin Iltutmish during his raid on Ujjain. This temple was destructed. ठीक है, so remember this aspect. Present 5-storied structure that is there was built by Maratha General Ranoji Shinde in 1734. Okay, in which style? In Bhumija, Chalukya and Maratha styles of architecture. And a century later, its marble walkway were restored by Scindias. There, Scindias were there in MP. So they मार्बल स्ट्रक्चर दिखाई देगा आपको सामने वॉकवेज में, दैट इज मार्बल स्ट्रक्चर. फाइन. नाउ मूविंग ऑन. नॉन ट्रेडिशनल लाइवलीहुड स्किलिंग ऑफ गर्ल्स इंक्लूडेड इन बेटी बचाओ बेटी पढ़ाओ स्कीम. नाउ दिस बेटी बचाओ बेसिक्स पहले हम पढ़ते हैं. बेटी बचाओ बेटी पढ़ाओ स्कीम PBBP, ठीक है, पहले बचाओ फिर पढ़ाओ, पहले पढ़ाओ फिर बचाओ नहीं, ठीक है. So it was launched in January 2015 at national level in about 200 districts where child sex ratio is low. ठीक है. Now this have objective. Which are these objectives? Prevent sex selective or abortion. क्या होता है रूरल एरियाज में, पहले ही चाइल्ड का सेक्स समझ में आ गया, इफ इट इज फीमेल दे विल डू अबॉर्शन. दिस इज कॉल्ड एज child sex selective abortion. So preventing this is very important. Why? They are doing illegally, right? So under PCPNDT Act 1995 it is illegal. ठीक है. Second, protection to girl child. Once it is born, it also needs to be protected, no? How it can be protected? By providing some incentives to the parents. Okay, making them aware, registration of the child, and then let's say providing some incentives. Third, education. Then employment opportunities. And in that itself we can mention here protection to the राइट्स ऑफ गर्ल चाइल्ड. ये सारी चीज़ें हैं उसमें. एंड द फोकस लार्जली इन फर्स्ट 5 years, इफ यू से आउटकम, 80% ऑफ द बजटरी प्रोविजंस इज ओनली ऑन, वी कैन से, IEC campaigns. And to some extent it has been very let's say successful. Like Gudda Guddi board, in public places such Gudda Guddi boards are there, where the information is let's say related to protection of child and why we need to protect the girl child. ये सारी चीज़ें दी जाती है at public places, public buildings. Okay, so information, education, communication, IEC campaigns, awareness generation, focus उस पे रहा है. Fine. Now the new things are being added. See here. Expanding the mandate of Beti Bachao Beti Padhao scheme, central government announced the inclusion of skilling of girls in non-traditional livelihood options in this program. Focus on increasing enrollment of the girls in secondary education, particularly in STEM. What is STEM? Science, technology, engineering and mathematics, where the women representation is very less compared to male. उसमें बढ़ाना, ये इसका मोटिव है. नॉन ट्रेडिशनल लाइवलीहुड, गर्ल्स का ट्रेडिशनल लाइवलीहुड क्या होता है? लाइक टीचिंग और लेट्स से द हाउस होल्ड कोर्स, या फिर कोई भी मतलब जो फूड प्रोसेसिंग इंडस्ट्री, सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप्स, इसी में है ज़्यादातर. ठीक है. या फिर फार्म एक्टिविटीज़, ऑन फार्म एक्टिविटीज़ जो भी है. तो ये चेंज करना हमें. ठीक है. इसके लिए मोटिव है. Then we all know that this particular scheme is basically the convergence of 3 ministries. Which are these 3 ministries? Women and Child, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, and third is Ministry of HRD. At present now it is Ministry of Education. Convergence of 3 ministries. Okay. And now after let's say Ministry of Women, it has converted all this into the Mission Shakti, under which there are 2 schemes now, Sambal and Samarthya. This gone to Sambal now, this part. ठीक है. Sambal, protection. Samarthya is empowerment. ठीक है. Okay, so this is how we should understand, and the implementation of this new added element is being done by MOU between Ministry of Women and Development, Skill Development and Minority Affairs. Fine? Okay. So, moving on. UN Secretary General, Prime Minister to launch initiative. Which initiative we are talking, or under, let's say, which program we are talking? The program which is part of Lifestyle for Environment initiative announced by Prime Minister in Glasgow summit last year. Okay, life movement. What is life movement? Lifestyle for environment. Lifestyle for environment. इसको ऐसे लिखते हैं, L small I capital F capital E. Lifestyle for environment. Okay, so it is talking about making lifestyle for environment as a public movement. The awareness among the people about the harmful impacts of all these problems that are happening. Okay, so this is being appreciated at world level, and different initiatives will be launched, and when this will be launched, we will cover in the current affairs. ठीक है, एक आपको एक आइडिया दिया गया है कि ऐसा लॉन्च करने वाले हैं, और UN Secretary General will be present at that time. Now, Haryana to buy paddy straw to MSP to check stubble burning. Okay, so Haryana government is looking for different providing avenues to the farmers so that they will not burn this stubble in the farm. They will remove that, collect and store somewhere, and then later they will sell and earn some money. Sell to the government directly at MSP. Minimum support price that is announced for different crops. In the same manner, MSP can be announced for now by the Haryana government. It is exploring this. Now, 3 lakh and counting RTI please pile up at Information Commission across India. Very important data. You should note it down in your data book. I have told students to maintain data book. How to make notes from the current affairs. One student was asking, no? Maintain your data book, and every day we are adding some relevant data from the newspaper. I will be telling you which part of syllabus it is relevant. Like this one, polity and governance, RTI. Okay, so even after 17 years of, let's say, implementation of RTI Act 2005, the transparency regime in the country remains mirage, with nearly 3.15 lakh complaints and appeals pending with 26 information commissions across India. These are state information commissions, 26 information commissions. This is the report by Satark Nagrik Sangathan, NGO working in RTI. ठीक है. The highest number of pending cases with Maharashtra at 99,722, followed by Uttar Pradesh and Karnataka. The Central Information Commission is having the pending data appeals of 26,724. Remember this. Then some other highlights of the report. The report says that 2 information commissions, Jharkhand and Tripura, out of 29 across the country, have been completely defunct for last 29 months and 15 months respectively. You can mention the appointments have not been done. Currently, Manipur, Telangana, West Bengal, Andhra Pradesh are without chiefs at moment in the state information commissions. Only 5% of all positions in the commissions are occupied by women. Very low representation to women. Several information commissions, including Central Information Commission, are working at reduced capacity with less than stipulated number of members in the office. This is the situation that we are having. You write this data to support the arguments that you are giving in your answer. The challenges, the limitations in the implementation of RTI Act, or expected question, traditional question, but you should mention the updated data. It is also comparing, you can see here, in 2019, the pending cases were around 2 lakh only. 2021 में इतने बढ़ गए, 2022 में इतने बढ़ गए. You tell me why it is increasing, other reason, other than this. The other reason is the major reason that there is increasing awareness among the people. and more people are filing RTI. इसीलिए तो number of appeals are increasing ना, ये भी तो reason है. And simultaneously there is less number of people manning these information commissions. तो इसलिए वो solve नहीं हो रहे जल्दी से cases जो है वो. ठीक है? Okay. Now the mains related questions, we have found good let's say captions from the first article, Arun Maira, written by Arun Maira. I want all of you to read that article line by line, because that will be very helpful for essay writing. Do you think that there is increase in the social tensions in the world? Question mark. If yes, give reasons and its implications. Now we have not discussed this, but indirectly we talked about social tension. Social tension. Poverty बढ़ गया, social tension हो गया. Then there is increase in inequality, social tension है. Then let's gender discrimination, social tension है. This is how we should understand this, right? Yes, we have to agree with this, and we should give reasons, all these reasons. Income inequality, then let's say regarding the poverty aspect, rich poor divide, gender discrimination, all these aspects are there. Racial discrimination, communal discrimination, caste discrimination, social tension. Okay, and if implication, it can lead to violence, lack of peace, low economic growth and development, low quality of life. This is implication. We are always at tension, communal tension, caste tensions. So stressful life, low quality of life, low economic growth, because the country is not moving towards the stated objectives. Productivity will decline. Now, the next 3P slogan, people, planet, profit, demands paradigm shift in economics. In the light of statement, suggest systematic solutions for simultaneously improving people. Exactly इसका आंसर मुझे आपने लिख के लाना चाहिए. Whatever the discussion we have had, you read the article also. इसका क्वेश्चन का exactly आंसर लिखने आना चाहिए आपको. Then recoupling monetary policy with fiscal policy is necessary but insufficient, because it will address only economic problems, macroeconomic problems that economy is facing, like employment, poverty and all. GDP must also recoupled with nature and society. Elucidate. Recoupled with nature, resources, sustainable development, all these aspects will come, no? And society, of course, giving back to society, or let's say whatever the redistribution of wealth, corporate, let's say social responsibility, CSR, everything will come here. समझ में आया? And then will be the peace. ठीक है, equality and no poverty, ये सारी चीजें आएगी यहाँ पर, right? Elucidate requires some kind of data and examples. Explaining with examples, data. ठीक है? Now, what should be answer to this? Yes, online students, write in the comment box answer to this question. Yes? Yes. So it is the only Jyotirlinga facing north while other face south?
It is in south, sir.
Yes, it is only Jyotirlinga facing south while other are facing east. Other are facing east. That's why first is incorrect. South and other are facing east. Kalidasa has described a temple in Meghdootam. This is correct. Then the present structure of temple is built by Maratha general Ranoji Shinde. Factual है थोड़ा सा, but art and culture में factually पूछते हैं, prelims में. So that's why second is correct. Now what should be answer to this?
Yes, sir.
Question is saying that incorrect. We have to choose incorrect. ठीक है ना? पहला तो correct है ना? Does not enjoy ना? Fixed term. Fixed term कहाँ है? Prime judge among the other. Yes, this is also correct. This is also correct. Appointed by the president. This is also correct. Then what is the problem? According to Indian Constitution, he should be the senior most. It is not mentioned in the Constitution.
It is in a conservation.
Convention. It is by convention. Parliamentary convention होते हैं ना, उस तरीके से judicial conventions भी होते हैं, right? So by convention it should be senior most judge of Supreme Court. So this is incorrect. It is not mentioned in the Constitution. So we have to find the incorrect statements. No? ठीक है? So any question? So one student was asking about how to make notes from the current affairs. So let's briefly I will tell you how to make notes from the current affairs. Prelims के लिए, mains के लिए. Okay, so if you are reading the newspaper, you are having follow-up on the daily The Hindu newspaper analysis. So what you have to take input from that? You have to understand which topics are important for our prelims examination, which are important for our relevant to our mains examination. You will get the idea after following 1 or 2 months. अगर आप ये daily lecture देखते हैं तो 1-2 महीने बाद आपको खुद से आइडिया आ जाएगा कि ये प्री के लिए इम्पोर्टेंट है, ये मेंस के लिए इम्पोर्टेंट है. नाउ फॉर प्रीलिम्स I would suggest you should not make notes. Only follow monthly magazine of any standard, let's say class जो market में है. Even Lukmaan IAS provides monthly magazine. You can follow that also. You can download from the website and you can follow monthly magazine. And this requires actually multiple revisions. एक बार पढ़ के नहीं होगा क्योंकि बहुत सारा information होता है prelims के लिए. It requires multiple revisions also. So prelims here, whatever the daily newspaper you are reading or watching this video, उसका notes नहीं निकालना है. ठीक है, आप लिख के नहीं रखेंगे. इसका यूज क्या है मैं बताता हूँ. वो है मेंस के लिए आपका. ओके, सो whatever the mains related news are there, you will make small notes on every issue. issue based notes बनाना अभी आपको आना चाहिए. on every, जैसे हमने अभी एक आर्टिकल पढ़ा, first one. Let's say we are talking about the solution to the economic problem that we are facing. एक पेज पे मैंने 5 लिख दिए points and I am writing some relevant data. That becomes my note. I will use it for essay, I will use for GS3 economy, I will use for environment also. ठीक है, तो small notes making, have data book with you. Have data book. Now data book should be specifically divided in GS 1, 2, 3, 4 and essay. रादर essay के लिए आप ये सारा यूज कर सकते हैं 1, 2, 3, 4 का, अलग से भी रख सकते हैं. How to add data in that data book? Whenever I am saying that this is important for GS1 society part or geography part, immediately you mention in under that heading in that data book. Syllabus topic wise, within that also you will mention I will use this in this syllabus topic. When you are writing this data, no, I will use. ठीक है, तो वहां पे लिखना है सिलेबस टॉपिक ये. जब आप डेटा बुक रिवाइज करेंगे, यू विल यूटिलाइज दिस डेलिबरेटली इन योर आंसर्स जब भी क्वेश्चन उस सिलेबस टॉपिक से आएगा. अंडरस्टूड? सो मेंटेन दिस डेटा बुक थ्रू आउट ईयर एंड न्यूज़पेपर से ये अपडेटेड करते रहना है. अपडेटेड डेटा आ गया तो उसको अपडेट करते रहना है डेटा को. Now, there will be lot of data on same topic many a times. We have to reduce to at least, let's say at most 2 to 3. ठीक है, उससे ज़्यादा नहीं sources use करने हैं. एक ही source जो standard हमें जो newspaper से मिल रहा है तो उस topic के लिए उतना ही रखिए data book को. Then here we are providing some practice questions. Providing practice questions on all these topics that we are discussing. You note it down in your notebook. ये वीडियो देख रहे हैं, स्टॉप करिए और वो नोट डाउन करिए. और नोट डाउन करने के बाद में आप वो आंसर लिखने की कोशिश करिए. राइट एट होम. राइटिंग इज द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट skill that we should develop for mains examination. Issue समझना is not sufficient. We have to write to address the demand of the question. ठीक है? So this practice should be done. And at the end of the year, current affairs के आपके ये जो notes है, GS let's say 1, 2 and 3 especially, 4 के इतने notes नहीं निकलेंगे आपको. तो ज़्यादा एग्जाम्पल्स मिलेंगे. 4 के लिए एग्जाम्पल्स लेना है डेटा बुक में ही. ओके, सो 1, 2 and 3 से जितना भी करंट अफेयर्स मिलता है, लार्जली 2 and 3 में, उसका आपका एक कंपाइलेशन होगा. एंड दैट विल बी यूज्ड फॉर लास्ट मिनट रिविजन बिफोर एग्जामिनेशन. ओके, यू विल बी ज्वाइनिंग एनी टेस्ट सीरीज आफ्टर प्रीलिम्स. यू विल रिवाइज दिस ओनली एंड यू विल गिव टेस्ट. रिविजन टेस्ट आफ्टर प्रीलिम्स. दिस इज व्हाट वी आर गोइंग टू फॉलो. Is this clear? So daily have this practice. So you will be saying, sir, prelims तो आप discuss कर रहे हैं तो उसका क्या फायदा है? उसका फायदा है when you are having daily follow up on this prelims topics, you will remember in the magazine while reading that magazine. अच्छा सर ने ये cover किया था. There will be revision only. और जो मैं क्लास में अगर कुछ एक्स्ट्रा चीज बता रहा हूँ वहां से, या मैं कुछ मिस कर रहा हूँ तो वो एक्स्ट्रा आपको मैगजीन में मिलेगा. Understood? But only one source, monthly magazine. This is now industry standard. Toppers are also following this. Understood? Now, one more important aspect of reading newspaper daily, and let's say why students should daily read newspaper. Many new aspirants I am seeing, they are directly reading this one, PT 365, Mains 365. And directly interview. See, in interview they will understand the shallow nature of personality if you are simply following these compilations. Reading newspaper is linked to your personality development, and personality development is part of interview preparation. Okay, reading daily newspaper actually broadens the kind of thinking ability you have on various issues. It generates your opinion on different issues, social, economic, political, international issues. And this is very important. Understood? So that's why all 3 phases of preparation, it is relevant to. And yes, of course, the Hindu newspaper is largely important because the language they use, the topics they cover, the experts who are writing articles, completely relevant to our examination. Understood? And I am not saying like Indian Express, that is also very important, Indian Express. But if suppose students are, let's say, comfortable with the language of Indian Express, they should read Indian Express and follow Indian Express analysis at Lukmaan IAS also. We are having that separate analysis. Those who are comfortable with the Hindu, you follow the Hindu newspaper. I hope now you have understood as a beginner how to make notes and follow current affairs. ठीक है? Okay, then let us stop.